Hey everybody, welcome back to the Race 5 Smokehouse and Grill, and today we are firing up a classic. We are cooking some beef dino ribs on the Weber Kettle. We're gonna jump right into this cook and talk about what we need to do to get this onto the grill. And first thing we're gonna do is start by trimming this. Now you can see we've got this beautiful set, looks like 3 bones of beef ribs here, and it comes with this fat cap on top and a membrane on the back. Now this membrane on the back, we're gonna leave because this is kind of gonna shrink up and fall off, but it's also gonna kind of help keep these together and protect them a little bit throughout the cook. So we're gonna leave this membrane on, unlike pork ribs where we usually take that off. So we're really not even gonna worry about seasoning the backside because this is a pretty thick layer. It's gonna fall off and you're gonna lose all that seasoning. But I am gonna do all the sides and the top here, but we wanna get this fat off so we could access that meat so we could get it nice and seasoned. So let's start by trimming some of this fat off here. Again, you don't wanna go too deep, but you just wanna get to that first layer of meat. And we're starting to get there, so we know we're not going too deep yet. The marbling on this is amazing. Now you're not gonna wanna dig all this fat out because then you're gonna eventually start gouging in and out, and you want some fat in there to help keep the cut moist and juicy. Now here's a silver skin, we definitely wanna get that off. Could just go underneath it. Wow, the marbling on this, I lucked out with these here, I'll tell you what. Now I'm just trying to get the rest of this little bit of silver skin off. I don't think I'm gonna really go after much more fat on here because this meat is pretty exposed right now. And then these are just like a brisket where you could spend all day trying to perfect the trim on here. I'm just trying to get that meat exposed and looking good, which is where I think we're at right now. Okay, so we have our fat cap trimmed off. Take a look at this. This marbling on here is absolutely beautiful. Now it's time to get it seasoned up. Nothing fancy, we're going Central Texas style. So let's just start. Gonna hit it with a quick mustard binder. You're not gonna taste the mustard. And again, I don't know if this really helps, but ever since I started using it, all my cooks have turned out great, so why would I stop? Again, we're not really worried about the back because of this membrane. We're not gonna season it or worry about it. First thing we're gonna hit it with is a little kosher salt. And you can put it on there pretty heavy. Again, big cut of meat could take a lot of salt. Then we're gonna hit it with some coarse black pepper. Tap those sides around here. And the final seasoning, some Lawry seasoned salt. There we have it, our 3-bone slab of beef dino ribs is seasoned up. We're gonna let this set up a little bit and then we're gonna go get that Weber fired up and ready to go to get these on. So let's head over to the Weber. We're gonna get this fired up. I got a couple wax cubes in here. Pile up a couple of these bits of charcoal around there, make sure those ignite. I'm using pecan wood in here. This is all in the slow and sear. You could also use the charcoal grates that come with the grill. I really like this slow and sear. It's a nice thick metal, really contains everything well. We're gonna let this catch up till this gets nice and red and those wax cubes are all burnt away. We'll be back when it's time to throw this on the grill. Those wax cubes have melted down perfectly. We've got a nice little fire going in the corner of this slow and sear. So those coals are getting nice and ashed over. We know this is gonna go for a nice low and slow cook, so we better get this closed down so that fire doesn't get out of control and gets too hot for this cook. So let's go get this grate on, get this meat on. And we are set up for 2-zone cooking. We're gonna cook in a cold section here, right with our heat over here. And here are our ribs. I did put my Typher probe in here to monitor the temp of the cook. We're gonna put the thicker side towards the fire here and probably rotate this a couple of times throughout the cook. This is on, let's close it up. I'm gonna leave the top vent maybe a quarter of the way open. I always leave the bottom vent wide open. I control all my heat with this top vent, and that's just how I'm gonna run it. Top vent about a quarter of the way open, bottom vent wide open, and I just run it that way. Keep an eye on the temps. If it's spiking, I close it down a little bit. If it's getting too cold, I open it up a little bit. That's the great thing about these Weber kettles. They're so versatile. You could do so many cooks on these things. We're gonna come back in a few hours and check on it. Right now, don't touch it, just let it roll. We'll be back in a few and it's time to start checking on it. We're We're roughly 4 hours in. Let's go take a look at these ribs. Our temp probe is reading 170 internal, and this has been rocking somewhere around 300, 280 to 300 in that range, which is perfect. Let's go see what these ribs are looking like. Oh yeah, look at the color on these things. We've got that beautiful rib pull back here, the bone pull back, meat shortening up, nice and juicy. Man, it's moist. We haven't touched anything. I haven't spritzed, nothing. The only thing I'm gonna do is I'm gonna turn this around just to promote a little bit even cooking, a little bit more even cooking. Up until this point, this side is getting all the heat. Now we're gonna get this side. We're gonna let this keep rolling. Let's close her back up. Got her closed down, still looking great. We're gonna let that bark form a little bit more before we wrap it. Now, depending on how this is going, because we're already in the 170s, I'm gonna let this go. I may not wrap it. Gonna see how it goes, play it by ear. Again, these are super marbled, a lot of fat in there. These may not need it, but you can see it's staying moist because all that fat and moisture is leaving. So we're gonna let it rock a little bit. I'm gonna come back in maybe another hour or two and see how we're looking. But this might be where we start to hit that stall between that 170 and 180 mark, and we're really gonna start building up some bark. So we'll be back hour or two and we'll check on these beef ribs again. Be back. About 2 more hours have gone by. This is reading in the mid 170s, so I think it's pushing through the stall. Let's go take a look, see how these ribs are doing. Oh yeah, that's exactly what we're looking for. So I'm just gonna poke around in here a little bit, see how this is feeling. Still a little tight in there near the bone. Oh, right there, it's nice and tender. So we're actually reading in the 180s, and that bark looks perfect. Nothing's coming off of it, but it's feeling pillowy and soft. Based on the color and the texture, it's time to wrap up. So let's get this wrapped in some butcher paper. I'm gonna start by throwing a little bit of tallow down here. This was in the fridge, so it's cold. We're gonna put those ribs right on top of it, and it's gonna melt right up. Absolutely gorgeous. So this is meat side down, meat side up, meat side down, meat side up, back on the grill. So I'm gonna find the thickest point, and I'm gonna put the thermometer back in just so we could keep, man, that's like butter, but just so we could keep monitoring temp and texture. Nice and fold it up. Let's close her back down. Charcoal's still looking pretty good. May have another couple hours on it, but let's close her up. Open this up wide open, and we're leaving it wide open because we're gonna let that temp climb a little bit. That meat's protected and wrapped. It's perfectly safe in there. Let's kick up the temp so we can push through this cook. So we're gonna keep watching it. We'll come back in an hour or two again, see if it's ready to go into the rest. We'll be back. We are exactly 8 hours in on this cook. Our wireless temp probe is telling us we're around 203, 205, right where it's at. I'm gonna go probe, see if it's probe tender. If it is, it's time to pull it off. Gonna go ahead and just hit this in a couple of places, and all we're looking for is to see how tender it is. And it is going through with zero resistance. So I know these are done. Oh, you could just tell by the feel too how cushiony they are. This is going on a tray. If you have a cooler or you like to let your beef rest in your oven, now's the time to go get it in that oven to let it rest. You could rest this for hours and hours and hours. I'm gonna throw this in my warming oven just to let it rest, let those juices redistribute, and let it break down a little bit more. And we're gonna come back when it's time to slice this up. So let's go get this into the rest, and we'll be back when it's time to dig in. My rest goal on this is several hours. It's about 3 o'clock now, so hopefully we're gonna eat around 6. That's when I'll slice it up and we'll get into it. So that'll be a nice 3-hour rest. Just like a brisket, you could also put these in and let it rest overnight. It's just gonna get more and more tender. But we'll be back when it's time to slice into these, taste them, and see how we did with these Dino ribs on the Weber Kettle. We'll be back soon. See you then. This has been resting for 3 hours. Let's go pull it out. The more and more you cook beef, beef ribs, beef brisket, chuck roast, you learn to feel. And I could tell just by feeling this how tender this is going to be. Perfect bark on here. Currently battling a windstorm, not sure if it's sounding like it or not, but let's slice into these and try it. All right, let's slice into this, see how we did. God, this is so tender. See, this membrane's still here, kind of pulled back some, but just trying to use it to guide here. God, that's like nothing. You know it was a good cook when the knife goes through like a hot knife through butter, and this is it. All right, just gotta taste it now. Let's give it a bite and see how we did. Man, these almost look too good to eat. Nailed it. Absolutely nailed it. Perfect tenderness. Clean bite, no tug, perfect cook. Weber kettles, I can't say enough about how easy they are to cook on, how versatile they are to cook on. These came out fantastic. Thanks for checking out the video. If you like what we did here, please hit that thumbs up, hit the subscribe button, check me out on social media, and we'll be talking to you all soon. Take care, everybody. Peace.